Ladies and gentlemen, we are in conversation with such a great larger than life HR leader who has shown us it's possible to make drastic changes in the organizations and yet to be extremely empathetic at the same time. Good evening, friends. Please welcome Sandeep Grover. He has worked with organizations like Philips, Honda, Signal, Triveni Oilfield Services, Federal Mogul Corporation, and Welspun Group, and he has served his tenure as head HR with many of them. Sandeep, we are very, very happy to have you here again with us for the conversation.
Thank you, Parul. Good evening.
Good evening. How have you been?
I am doing good. Thank you very much. Enjoying the whatever is left out of the lockdown. So I'm enjoying that. Yeah.
It's actually very confusing for me, Sandeep. I am not sure whether it's a lockdown or unlock. I have been in these four walls from last 4 months.
That's right. No, fortunately for me, I've been moving around now, and for the last 15 days or so, I've been out. I am not in Mumbai now. I'm in your city. I'm in Gurgaon. So yeah. So life has changed. Obviously, when you look outside, you tend to understand that okay, life is different now. But having said that, I think things are moving back to rails. People have started gathering whatever was on the ground. So and then they have started moving towards their goals. Yes, but it'll take a while. Yes.
It will, yes. Perfect. So thank you so much, Sandeep. And I am very excited to start our conversation once again today. I have many questions in mind, and some of them are very close to my heart. So because I am not asking those questions for our viewers, I'm being very selfish. I'm asking all those questions for myself. So if you allow us, shall we begin?
Please, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandeep. So my first question is about handling difficult employees. So you wrote in your book about handling different types of employees. So I want to understand who among according to your opinion, among all of those, so who is the most challenging one to handle? The defensive one, upset one, or the unresponsive one? And let us know the reason why.
You see, fortunately, unfortunately, whatever is written in the book and whatever you actually encounter on any given day could be slightly different, right? What I'm trying to tell you is that, okay, the types of the employees, what I have mentioned in the book are, same, whatever you said, defensive and, upset and, unresponsive or whatever, right? But having said that, on any given day, it's quite possible that the defensive and upset will come in a combo shape, right? Yeah, and that has become tedious for many of the managers, including myself, to handle, because you don't know at what given point of time the employee would tend to change stance and get into upset mode. What will sort of hit him or her the most at that given point of time, especially when that person is sort of defensive in nature, right? That person has been defending whatever you tell him, and then on one particular sort of point, that person will at least tend to be very, very upset. And when somebody is upset, then I mean, a pack full of napkins is short. People start crying, people become emotional, people will narrate so many things. So it becomes a little tedious, especially when the time is not on your side, in terms of that you don't have enough time. You have some specified, let's say 30 minutes for an employee, you're giving him or her a feedback. And then that 30 minutes tend to become 1.5 hours. You don't even know what to do. And you can't leave that employee in that stance, right? You have to sort of, contain the whole thing, right? So that is slightly tedious and has been a little difficult, especially when both the things come in one, go, upset and defensive. But having said that, yes, I think the experience tells us to how do we handle such employees, especially when the upset part comes. Then you have to obviously allow the employee to vent out, because that's the only way. unless until that venting is complete, that person will, sort of continue to be in that mode, right? And that whatever you say is not going to be registered any which ways. So venting is a must, and you need to have all your listening skills in place. You need to be, not become emotional yourself. Very, very important, because if you are emotional types, then it becomes very difficult, because and I've seen, managers who also become emotional when an emotional employee is narrating something, and then it becomes very difficult to handle. Then you have to handle two different, species in one go. So it's very important for you to, maintain your own emotional balance, and also, sort of allow the employee to vent out whatever he has to say. At the same time, provide a lot of data. That is important, because if you're not, if the data is not on your side, if you're not having enough data with you, then whatever you say, the person is going to, negate it. He might say that, no, I don't think so, this is true. And then he'll have his own story. Story, when I'm saying, means he will have his own narration. And then if you are not having hard facts with you, and when I say hard facts, I mean, complete hard facts on that day, which was, May the 25th at around 3 p.m., like that, so you have to sort of contain that person like that, because then he knows, okay, the facts are with you. Then that person, even if he's trying to, play, little game with you, he will not be able to play. When I say he, I mean both the genders, obviously. Nobody is, falling short of that. They all come with their own, sort of peace of mind and piece of stories. So it is very important for you to have the data on your side, complete data, and you have to prepare yourself. Please understand, when you're calling somebody and from the, sort of your past experience, that person will behave. Every manager knows about his people, right? And he knows that, his people will behave in what way. So you need to understand and accordingly prepare your arsenal, right? You have to have all the, equipment ready, so as to say. The data has to be there. If you require some sort of evidence, some person, yes, that also needs to be available. At times people say कि नहीं मेरी उससे बात हुई थी और उसने ये बोल दिया था. So you need to immediately say कि hold on यार, I need to check once, right? And you have to be like, you have to play that game very, very, clearly. You can't say कि अच्छा उसने बोला था, चलो मैं check करूंगा. Then things do not, sort of culminate into the right way. So you have to probably tell, if somebody is taking names, I had told so and so forth, you'll say, okay, hang on, let me just check. Can I check with him? That's it. And then on the spot, you must talk to that person either on phone, speaker phone, or whatever. So that is how I have seen that, many of these, so-called difficult employees, once they will behave like that, then next time they know, okay, no. And, more important than that also, I think it is also, they also know what kind of personality are you. They will not tend to behave with you in a different way if they know, this guy is not going to mend his ways, right? He is going to hold on to his data. He is going to hold on to his, the specifics of my performance. And then he is going to tell me what he has to tell, right? Come what may, main roon, chillaun, jo marzi karo, because nobody is running a charity show there, right? So that, I think you have to make it very, very clear. And that people observe. They also know, okay, boss, what are you? If you are behaving like that with your bosses, then they will also behave like that. It also depends upon the kind of culture which you are portraying. So it is very important. You need to be very clear about yourself. How clear are you related to your own performance, and how are you behaving? What kind of perception you're giving to your employees? B, that you need to have all the facts and figures with you. And C, you need to understand what exactly I need to do with this guy so that he improves. I think the key part here is the improvement part. You need to ensure that eventually, why I'm having this conversation with this person is because I would genuinely want my employee to improve. And why I would want him to improve is because I would genuinely want, when he improves, his performance is going to improve my performance. I think that clarity has to be there. And it's, we are all living in a selfish world, Parul. I have to be very selfish in this, because my performance is linked with my employee's performance, period. And if he doesn't improve, my performance is hampered in some form or other. When that clarity is there and when that linkage is very clear, then I will ensure genuinely that that person improves, come what may. फिर वो difficult हो या कुछ भी हो, and if I have to live with him, it's like, like partners, right? When you have to live with your partner, then you will ensure that that something, by hook or crook or by sam dam dand bhed, you will ensure that that person is mending his or her ways. So my mantra has been very, very simple. A, you have to portray your life the way you would want them to portray. B, you need to have data on your side and all other equipments. When I say equipment, I mean all other facts in terms of if somebody is going to take somebody's name, that person should be available, period.
Perfect, Sandeep. I will make a comment. So the combination which you've talked about, the combination of difficult employees, I think that's a very, very difficult combination to kind of address to. And I agree to the fact that yes, the combination is possible. And all employees, including myself, I think we all have been at one or the other position at some or the other time in our lives. So I completely agree. And the fact when you said that it's important to listen to these employees and let them vent out, because once they are, like it is said, once you're empty, you'll grasp what the other person has to say.
Yeah.
And of course, the intent, of course, is very important when it is your employee development. I completely agree. That's a very well articulated answer, I must say. Thank you. Sandeep, my next question is, when I would like you to share with us your foremost advice for first-time managers for an effective review process.
I think that's a very pertinent question, especially for first-time managers, because they may not have their own experience, right? And I have seen many managers, unka khud ka kabhi feedback session nahi hua. If they have not been experiencing themselves a feedback session, they would not even know what to do and how to do it, right? So it is very important that they need to understand what exactly. And I presume here for a second that the KRAs per se are taken care of, right? It is not, the KRA is not at fault. The KRAs have been set the way it ought to be set, and it has been done. The score has been done, the self-scoring has been done the way it ought to be done, right? Having said that, because if that is not taken care of, then we are in for a disaster, because then it's like the last time I said GIGO, right? Garbage in, garbage out, right? It's going to be a GIGO, here. So the KRAs have to be there, and I presume that after that, first and foremost, I think they need to give adequate notice to their employees, to their, sort of subordinates. That notice has to be there. You can't just pick up the phone and say, "Ke acha khali hai to aaja." If you're not doing anything, let me do your, feedback. Because this HR guy has been sitting on my head and he has been telling me that my feedback session nahi hua. So I have to, if you're thinking that you have to just, tick mark something, right? Check your boxes and, say that, okay, I have done my feedback. Then I think you are not serious yourself, right? And then it is going to be, heading for a different mode only, right? It is not going to be a good feedback. So I presume that is not there. Third thing is, don't keep too many, interviews. Don't keep too many feedbacks in a day, because it will take a while, for you. It will take, you may not, know that what kind of person is going to be sitting in front of you, right? That could be, like we discussed in the earlier question, it could be a difficult employee, right? So which will drain a lot of your, your own energy and resources. B, it is also important that, you need to prepare. So you can't be prepared, and you have to take care of other aspects only also, right? It's not that you have to do only feedback throughout the day. You have to take care of other important things also. So don't keep too many. I mean, it depends upon people, but I've seen not more than 3 in a day by any standards, right? Because you have to take care of other things also. And you have to decide what is the right time for you. When you don't have too many other, sort of pressures, right? The phone is not ringing. So you have to keep that you have to ensure that the phone is kept somewhere out, or it is on silent, right? The laptop is not in front of you. Otherwise you will, keep on checking your emails also. Somebody is talking and you have to keep, you obviously will be busy somewhere else, right? Third thing is, don't, and I think I said it earlier also, that don't keep the meeting in your own room, right? It is very important, because your room is perceived to be a power place, right? And when you are sitting on your table, on your chair, that singhasan, I call it the singhasan, right? On your singhasan, then you are perceived as the usual boss. So the employee, and it's very important, psychologically, he has to perceive you as a different person today, right? On the day of the feedback, that he has to say, oh my God, this person is different today and is behaving in a different way. And that behavior or that perception has to come when you're not sitting on your throne, right? You're not on your singhasan, right? And you are sitting somewhere else. So if you, in case it is not possible for you to have a different room or a different conference room or whatever, you please ensure that you are sitting on the other side of the table along with the employee. And I have seen my own chairman sitting on the other side of the table along with me, or sitting on the lounge, right, on the sofa, right? So it is very, very important. Those, small things make a hell lot of difference, right? Third, fourth thing which I always say, that you have to do your homework well. It is not good when you are asking the employee, "Acha tere kyare ho gaye? Kahan pe paper? Have you brought a copy?" And I have seen so many times, umpty number of times, the managers talking to the employee, कि अच्छा एक उसका print out ले आना. Now this is a small thing from your perspective, but it's a big thing for the employee. And I think earlier also I said, okay, please understand that the employee, your subordinate, who is working for you, first and foremost, is not working for his salary. For this, meeting, he is working for you, right? He is working so that you are able to achieve your targets, period. If he is working for you for one complete year, 365 days, right? And you don't have 1 hour, I think it's a shame. You should at least keep 1 hour in undivided attention to that person, and you have to do a little bit of your homework for that. At least take a printout of the KRAs, right? If that is important, highlight some of the thing which he has done. It will make an impression. Please understand. The subordinate who's looking at the page, he'd say, "Oh my God, ye banda padhta hai bhai." So next time he's going to be more serious. Okay, whatever I'm writing, this person reads, right? And he's making notes. So all that, maybe you call it impression management or whatever, but these are important aspects. Highlight some of the high things which he has done. Probably make notes of something which he's not been able to do, something which you better, which you think that you have got some other idea, right? So all those things, that paper has to be ready. It has to be ready in some sort of a folder, and you have to pick and then keep that on the table when the person is there, so that he knows that you are ready, right? So that perception has to be very clear, right? And I used to say, I don't know what people will say, but I used to tell the employee that, "Boss, this is your day today. I have been talking about your performance, talking about the targets, talking about what exactly you need to achieve in every day in, day out. हम तो रोज यही काम करते हैं, right? So, but today, for a change, it is your day. Please tell me, what is that which you could have done better?" Right? I think the emphasis or the focus has to be how things could have been done better, and there is always a room for improvement. Everybody understands that, but that is something which you have to set the tone on. You can't start the day with let's say कि यार तेरी performance में ना वो चीज आई नहीं, I did not have that, that I think that zeal is missing or something. Then you're putting him down. He is going to behave like a defensive person, right? Then you are putting him on a different tangent only. So yeah, it is very important when you're talking to the subordinate, you have to start the dialogue like, okay, it is your day. You have to talk, and you have to, I'm sure you have done your homework. You have brought all the facts and figures, and please tell me on these parameters how things could have been done better. Khatam. Okay, next time, when for the next quarter or next half year or next 1 year, when he's at least planning, he knows that the boss expects something better. Maybe I have achieved 4, out of a score of 5, but the boss is expecting me much better. And that shows what? That shows that the boss has got respect for you. That shows that the boss is expecting better from you, which is good, no? When the boss says that I don't expect anything from you, is it a good thing? Or when he says I expect a lot of things from you, right? So you have to set the tone in the very beginning, right? So, but for that, I need to prepare myself as a manager. I need to prepare myself, right? So all that things you need to do, right? Don't talk too much, because I think you have spoken enough throughout the year. Don't talk too much. Listen. That day, I think you should practice your listening skills, right? And as I've said, don't have too many sort of disturbances around. It could be your phone, it could be your laptop, it could be something else, it could be a nagging call from a family member, any damn thing. No, nothing. That time it is important, and please give that importance. 1 hour, that's it. I'm not asking anything more. Just 60 minutes out of the 365 days, just 60 minutes, undivided, full attention to the employee, period. And it will have major impact on his performance. And when I say his performance, it is your performance also, right? Because his performance is linked with your performance, right? Ultimately. So I think that we have to do. And obviously, you have to understand the genuine concerns and provide some inputs. If he's wanting some inputs, if he's seeking your help, give those things. So I think these are some of the things which the first time manager have to keep. And I think if they are prepared like that, eventually they will become better and better and better on that, right? And then when we say that we want to inculcate a culture of performance driven company, this is how it becomes. It adds to that, right? And eventually these first time managers are going to become the general managers of tomorrow and the vice presidents of tomorrow, right? If they inculcate that habit, tomorrow they are going to do wonders. And please understand, it is a contagious disease, right? If you are doing it, your subordinates will do to his subordinate, and so on and so forth. The peers will also pick up. अरे यार ये बड़ा अच्छा feedback कर रहा तू, so let me also do. It's a contagious disease. So I very strongly believe that something like this has to be done, especially with first time managers.
Sandeep, I have had many opportunities to discuss first time managers program with a couple of learning and development professionals. But I must tell you that you have summed up everything in just one response. And honestly, they are very simple things. But I completely agree when you said that when we implement these simple, small steps, it is going to make a huge impact, and not just in lives of your subordinate, or I should put the word your team member, but in your life as well. It's such an eternal peace in terms of when you are there to listen to the person, when you're there for the development of your team member instead of just criticizing the person.
Oh, yes.
Perfect. Yeah. Wow. So that brings me another question. Sandeep, what do you think is the most important aspect to keep in mind while appraising an underperforming employee?
So when you say underperforming, I presume that the person has, it's not that he's a dud, right? It's not that he's never performed. He has performed in the past, but this period, this year or this half year, he has not been able to perform because of whatever reasons. So I think if that is the case, you have to ensure that he has to give, you have to give a lot of opportunity to that employee to vent out. He would have his own reasons. So you have to understand what has been the reasons, right? Number one. Number two, what is that which you could have done? Because eventually I very strongly believe that the buck stops with you. If there is an employee in your team, and it's not that you're managing a team of 3,000 people, right? You're managing a team of maybe 8, 10, 15 people. That's it. So it's not that that person is never caught your eye, right? He or she would be very clearly in your mind that this person is, not performing because of what it is. It could be, the reasons which are beyond his or her control. It could be some reasons which are within his or her control. If there are reasons which are beyond his or her control, then I think you have to only provide, sort of ideas and, sort of suggestions as to what could have been done better. First and foremost, I very strongly believe, Parul, that the feedback of underperforming employee should not happen on this day. An underperforming employee needs to be dealt with then and there. You can't wait. Okay, let me wait for that 6 months down the line when I have a feedback session. Man, that doesn't work that way. Because if that worked that way, you have to be very clear that that person is going to get into a PIP only, right? Performance improvement plan, right? Or that, when you draw a bell curve, the last percentile of whatever 5-10%, right? If that is the case, then probably we can can have that discussion with the underperforming employee. Otherwise, this discussion ought to have happened on the day when you first time noticed the performance is lacking in whatever reason. So that, again, my intent is what? That he improves his performance, right? Because when he improves the performance, it is my performance which is improved. So I have to ensure that on that given day only, I need to tell him or her that, okay, these are the things which are lacking, or these are the things which needs to be done in a different way so that your performance improves, right? If that has not been done, something is wrong in the system. First and foremost is very clear, right? Second, if you have to give the feedback to that person, I think the feedback has to be on the side of what is that which you could have done better, right? So far, for example, let's say there is an employee who has been underperforming, and there have been umpteen instances wherein the manager has had a word with that employee, right, over a period of last 6 months or 3 months or whatever time, right? And there have been some improvement, sometimes there have not been improvement. So on that given day, when you're having a formal feedback session, I think that day has to start with, okay, what is that which you could have done better so that your performance could have improved? Was there anything which you think you could have done, right? Or was there anything which probably we never discussed? It probably would have, never would have crossed your mind or my mind. Did we miss out on something? What is that which we need to do? Market is not behaving the way we ought to, we were expecting it to behave. So what is that which we could have done better, right? Because market is going to behave like this VUCA way only, right? So what is that which we could have done better? Can we do something better? Or can we just wait and watch? Can we wait for a better day? So all those, I'm just, sort of rattling out all these things, but I think the tone has to be very clear that A, it can't be a day when you are discussing the underperformance for the first time. Very clear, right? Then there's something wrong. B, then you have to tell the employee that, okay, please tell me where we have gone wrong. What is your opinion? What is your suggestion? What are your, various other thoughts? Maybe you would have spoken to your peers, you would have spoken to some other employees of other companies which are also handling the similar, products. What is that which they have done better? Do you have any data? Or I have some data, and I think we should have done this. So that suggestion, has to come on that day, not, talking about his underperformance
only. When you were just talking about this in the previous response, there is a recall of memory. So I have had in all these years opportunities to have the appraisal discussion multiple times, and majority towards the side of the employee, sometimes as a people manager. One of my managers, he was always on phone. He used to be constantly on phone. And during the appraisal discussion, the laptop was open in front of him and he was on his phone. I could totally understand the moment you said it is so important the person is able to vent out and the manager is listening to the person. This is the day for the employee out of all those 365 days. And I 200% agree with the thought process. It is very important and the intent should be employee development.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Sandeep, there is something which I always fail to understand. Is that how come a high potential employee be a low performance one? Unless there is a gap between passion and the profession. So can you help our viewers or let's say the people managers here to know how to deal with such employees?
I think it's I totally agree that, at times we come across some people who have got, great potential, but somehow the performance is not matching up with that potential. It could be that what you are saying, that, the passion and the, his what you said, passion and
profession.
Yeah, so passion and profession, there could be a mismatch. That person could be at a wrong spot on that given day, or in that job. That could obviously happen. But having said that, I very strongly believe, and I have recently sort of written a small booklet. The tagline of that is that the performance pays the bill and not the potential. You know, performance pays the bill. So it's very important.
Note that out. Let me note that, Sandeep. I'm going to use this.
So when I say this, it's very, very clear that it is your performance. I have hired you for your performance. I have certainly not hired you for your potential. So you are very great. You've got great potential. I respect that. But having said that, I need to see your performance. If the performance is not there, but that I presume that, you know, those essential ingredients are there. Those ingredients are there. Otherwise, it's very difficult for a person to have a lot of, you know, potential but no performance. So those ingredients are there. He or she has not been able to apply those ingredients because of whatever reason. It could be the mismatch with passion. It could be mismatch with the scenario. It could be mismatch with the boss. It could be mismatch with something which is happening in my personal life. It could be any damn thing. So I think first and foremost, I need to understand. There has to be a lot of, again, went out. I need to understand, okay, boss, what is that which is hampering your performance, right? Oh, heck yeah. And but again, I need to reiterate here again that this can't happen on the end, you know, penultimate day, right? This day of the feedback session can't start with this, okay, what is happening with you? That what is happening should have happened earlier. As a boss, you know, who has a, you know, strong connect with my subordinates or my team members, I ought to be knowing all this. I can't afford to be, you know, playing the role of okay, nahi, mere ko to kuch pata hai nahi, and just suddenly these papers have come in front of me and I am trying to understand what is happening in your performance. No. On that day, I need to reiterate some of the things which has already been said, and I need to understand what is that the employee has done on whatever suggestion he or she or I have given to that person. So I need to reiterate and I need to understand what has been done and what needs to be done more, right? What needs to be done in a different way. Perhaps there is something else which needs to be done, right? Along with it's like, you know, taking a medicine. Along with that medicine, maybe you need to take a shot also, right? Or along with the medicine, you need to take a vitamin pill also, right? Something like that. So that needs to be reiterated in a very, you know, clear way. But having said that, it is very clear that if the potential is there, performance cannot hamper. But again, I am saying that probably one has to check on the role that the person is playing, the scenario, maybe his own subordinates, his team members, his immediate boss, or some family issue. It could be anything, right? Yeah.
Sandeep, while you were talking, I pulled out a picture on my mobile phone, which I received a couple of days back. So I can show the picture. I would be happy to explain that. There are 4 quadrants in this one. The left side are knowledge and experience, right side are competencies and personal attributes. And the statement, it says that people are hired for knowledge and experience, and they are fired for competencies and personal attributes.
Yeah.
So you also put it
that's right.
beautifully. Yes.
Very true. Very true.
Thank you, Sandeep, for this response. And it has, I am sure, given a lot of insights to our viewers in terms of how best we can ensure that the review mechanism or the complete appraisal process is not just a one-day process. It's
yes,
a
it is not.
Yeah, true. And I completely agree. And it has given me a much of insight in terms of how I should ensure to utilize every available opportunity to give the feedback with an intent, the development of the individual.
Yeah.
Perfect. For my next question, Sandeep, I will use a quotation from Ken Blanchard. It says, feedback is the breakfast for champions. So what, according to you, are the key aspects of giving feedback and especially of receiving feedback?
Yeah, feedback is the breakfast for champions. Yeah, that's right. But those champions need to digest that breakfast also, right? They not only have to digest it, they also have to apply, right? Whatever feedback they get. Yes, I completely agree with that quote because, yeah, that is important because unless you are open for feedback, right? And again, as I always been, I think, maintaining that it's a culture you're trying to make. You know, for example, in one of the places where I worked, we started a 360 degree, right? And I have, sort of implemented 360, I think at least at a dozen places after I've, started my own consultancy, with great results, obviously, everywhere. So when we start 360, the first reaction is that I know everything. Usually the managers, they will come in and say, boss, I know what my managers or what my subordinates feel, right, about me. But when we say, okay, that is something which, why I think it's a great idea to, sort of understand and reiterate and probably reflect, and also correct in your mind, okay, whatever you were saying or thinking, they're also saying the same thing. So it means good. No, you were thinking about a particular aspect of your competency, which you feel that people are also perceiving you on that, right? If people also say the same thing, it is a good thing, no? So what is the issue? Then he says, can issue to go in? But then we understand that that person is wary of seeking feedback. He is afraid that his employees who talk good in front of him may give negative feedback when they are given, a scenario wherein they are able to give an anonymous feedback, right? Anonymous feedback is the key here, right? Anyways, I think we slightly digress because the 360 degree is important. But having said that, in this, sort of giving feedback, some of the key aspects which I think are very, very important is, first and foremost, I think I have reiterated earlier also, that you need to do your homework well, right? That is very, very clear. You can't afford to, sort of, as I think I just be repeating myself, you can't afford to say on that given day, ki, Acha, teri, where are your KRAs? I seem to have lost it. Can you get it from HR? Usually this is the response I've seen many of the managers give. I don't seem to have received your KRS. I think the system has done some mischief. If there is a HRMS, at times they blame the HRMS. I was trying, it was not opening. Why don't you tell the HR that they should give a printout, right, or mail it to me separately? So that doesn't work, unfortunately, because now people know that it on a click of a button on your mobiles, everywhere it is available, right? And you should have done that a day before, right? It is not the time. You should have done your homework well. So I think do your homework well. Understand if there are any genuine gaps between the set KRAs and the actual KRAs, because again, it's a VUCA word. Every 3 months the KRAs change. The business plan itself changes. You don't have a choice today, right? So if that is the case and the KRAs have not been amended, then I think it boils down to your own KRAs, right? The manager has not done his own work well, right? It boils down to your own performance, right? So then the buck stops with you. Then I think you need to give all the grace marks to the employee, because you have not sort of insisted that the KRs need to be changed, right? You should have done it. If the employee has not done it, the responsibility lies with the manager, right? So I mean, if that is the case, I think accept your failure and appraise accordingly. Encourage self-appraisal or self-scoring, right? That is a must, because it is important for the employee, for the subordinate, to sort of step into the shoes of a scorer, right? And then appraise person's performance. And when somebody looks at his or her own performance metrics, then by force they get into the shoes of the appraiser only, right? So it is important that psychologically he or she has to step into the shoes of the appraiser, right? Keep the whole year in the review. I think it's so important. But we sort of always suffer from the recency effect, right? We always talk about ke पिछले 3 महीने में this is your performance has been very good or not very good. We don't keep the whole period in the review, right? It could be 6 months. That's why we always encourage mid-year review, because the whole year becomes too much of a time, and especially when the data is not very strong, then you're going by your own thoughts and your own memories, right? And then only the bad things will occur, because हाँ तब मैंने तेरे को डांटा था, and then you will reiterate that only. Doesn't help, right? Focus on the behavior and not on the employee. I think I think said it in the book also somewhere, that it is so very important. Then when you're talking about a particular behavior, you should not say कि तू तो है ही ऐसा. At times this is what we say कि तेरी तो performance ही खराब है, तेरा behavior ही खराब है. तेरा behavior खराब नहीं है, तेरा उस दिन वाला behavior खराब है. So I think it makes a sea difference when you talk like that. Kenny, on that day, your behavior was not right. And I would like you to change your behavior, not I would like to change you. So I think that key difference has to be made in your conduct. So you have to ensure that when you are talking and with, the kind of words one uses, very, very important. It is important to give negative feedback also, but that also needs to be given in a way that you would want to improve. Again, well, I think that if you are starting with the, sort of mandate of improvement, development, all these things will fall in place, right? But if you're starting with a mandate, I need to bring his expectations down, then God save the country, right? So, focus on the behavior and not the employee. Positive feedback first. I've spoken about this constructive criticism. I mean, the aspect has to be, I think, that you're good, you need to become great. Good to great. Instead of saying कि तू तो है ही ऐसा, तेरी performance हमेशा ही खराब रही है. अगर हमेशा ही खराब रही है तो why you are maintaining? Why you are keeping him here? It's as simple as that, right? That means you are running a charity and he knows that you will maintain, you'll keep. It is just a farce. If it is not, then you have to ensure, na? Yeah, uske KRAs you have not set the right way. Right? Something is wrong. If KRAs are set right, his performance has been good in the past, and this time his performance has faltered, then you need to understand what are the circumstances, right? You have to work on that, right? If everything is good, then you have to ensure that how does it become great? Then the development, because there's no room for that. Okay, there's no dearth of improvement, right? The improvement is always a infinity. You can always improve, right? That 5 ought to become 5.5 out of 5 only, right? So how do you ensure that? And don't bring a fresh issue. Don't bring something which has never been spoken about, because it doesn't help. Because that person will either be taken aback, or and I have seen so many people keep it with in their pocket. Kenny, isko performance wala din bataunga. And I've seen, and that is a sort of it's a negative vendetta, right? It doesn't help anyone, and it also speaks about your own self conduct as a manager, what you are doing with your employee. So I think as a manager, as a competent manager, it is important that you should ensure that nothing fresh, nothing new is being brought about at that day, right? You are talking about only those things which has already been discussed, right? And at the same time, you need to have a development plan. You have to ask the employee, ask the subordinate, okay, boss, all this is great. How do you improve? How do you develop yourself? What is the new thing which you would want to learn? I recall, I think 1 year back, I met my ex-chairman, Mr. Goenka, right? And can you believe, I think we were meeting after 2 years or 2.5 years, right? So I met him in his office in Mumbai. And before I sat down, I mean, look at the thought process. Before I sat down, the first sentence which he uttered from his mouth was, "Aur naya kya sikha?" Just imagine. Now, this person could have asked, "Meri family kaisi hai? How was I doing? Business kaisa chal raha hai? How's your consultancy going on? What kind of projects you are working?" All that. No, he said just one sentence, "Naya kya sikha?" And he's always a man of very few words. He doesn't speak much. That is, that speaks about the kind of mind he has. That speaks about that, okay, he's always on a journey of becoming good to great, right? So, naya kya sikha? So that speaks. So when I know that my boss is going to ask me this question, so next time when I'm going to him, I would be prepared. No, kuch seekh ke jaun. Do you understand? So this has a ripple effect, which is so important. So as managers, it is our duty to ensure that our performance to be. Naya kya seekha tumne? Did you learn something new? Okay, you committed a mistake. No issues. Did you learn something out of it? What were the learnings? Tell me. So why don't you tell me in 5 minutes what were the learnings out of that episode which did not happen the way we wished it could have happened. That's it. So that explains the kind of mindset you have as a manager. That explains the kind of culture which is prevalent. Who makes the culture? We as managers make the culture, right? If we are not talking in that terminology, the employee would also be, oh, time pass hi karenge. आप भी टाइम पास कर रहे हो, वो भी कर रहे हैं. So I think as bosses, this is our responsibility. And this feedback, day, the day of the feedback, is a very important milestone in that journey, wherein you have to reiterate some of the things which you have said it either openly in a closed door, in so many words, or mincing the words or whatever. That day you have to reiterate very, very clearly that this is what I expect, right? And that expectation probably has to start with a development plan. That okay, naya kya kiya? What is that which you have done new, and what is that which you can do new in the next quarter or next half?
Sandeep, there are so many thoughts and I want to make a lot of comments, but I'll restrict myself to just one important thought. How beautiful it is that great minds actually think alike. Yesterday, I was attending one of the webinars from Captain Raghu, and he talked about culture of the organization. So he just asked a simple question. If one of the employees of the organization, for any chance, because of any reason, has passed away, so how many employees from the organization A are ready to contribute from their salary? Forget about what organization is paying or the insurance company is paying. How much the employees of the organization are ready to pay from their salary for the family, and B, for how long the employees of the organization are in touch, or do they remain in touch with the family members. And when you were talking about all those things in terms of the intent of the employee, culture, what you have learned, I was able to recall what these two questions from Captain Raghu, because I understand there are two different aspects, but I think at the end of the day, it all boils down to just one single thing, and that is the culture. And truly, being an HR professional, with all due respect to everyone in the fraternity, I want to just make a comment here, is that the beautiful posters on empowerment or motivation or team building, they don't actually build the culture. But you very rightly said, we as employees, people managers, we build the culture.
Yeah, very true.
Perfect.
Very true. I think I missed out on one part, which I think you also said about receiving feedback, which is I think one of the part of the question was that also, how do we receive it? And I think that's vital. And if you allow a minute, I would want to speak about that also.
Please,
you see, first and foremost, it's indeed a courageous step. I must admit, you require a lot of courage to listen to your subordinate speak about you. It requires nerves of steel, I must say that, first and foremost. So having taken that step, when you have understood and when you have told that an employee that please tell me something about myself, right, then you have to face it. And I've seen many strong people falter there, right? Because the moment somebody says कि sir बाकी सब ठीक है, आपकी tone ठीक नहीं है, oh my god, it hits you big time. And you have to whatever it says, it's not that it is something which you are very defensive about. It could be something which you admit in your own mind also, but it's difficult. It's extremely courageous for you to say or have a smiling face, at least. May not admit okay, yes, I agree, may not say that, but at least when you're receiving it gracefully, that speaks a lot, right? So first and foremost, I must sort of say this, that it is indeed a courageous step and it's not easy. But at the same time, you please understand that when the employee, your subordinate, your team member is speaking about that, he is also taking a lot of courage. It is not easy. Please put yourself into his shoe and give that feedback to your boss. Just understand the kind of bloodshed which you will be having, right? Or the kind of tremors which you will be facing, right? It requires a lot of courage for both the employee as well as the manager to give as well as to receive. So please understand, if the person is saying something, you please put yourself, as I've been, I think in some of the earlier interviews I've said that DILO, day in the life of, DILO, DILO. What's the term? day in the life of. You please put yourself in the day in the life of that subordinate and face his boss, which is you, right? And then understand. If he says, for example, that your communications are at times you shout in front of other people, right? Just put for a second, think that he's talking about a third person, right? And put yourself as a subordinate, as a hapless subordinate in front of that manager, which is you, right? And then understand how that person would be feeling. And please understand, when you talk in front of others, and especially negative things, the message does not go, because that person is only thinking, oh my god, इन्होंने किस किस के सामने बोला, तो मेरी इज्जत किसके सामने गई, right? Who was there, who was paying attention? So that person is not registered that as to what exactly you have been saying. If your intent is that he should be able to improve on the performance, if the intent is to develop, right, to improve, then that sort of loses, completely lost. So it is very important. I'm just saying that it is important for you to give a negative feedback in person. If that is the case, that you have to improve. But in this case, when you are receiving feedback, one has to sort of accept it with a smile, right, and look at improving yourself. Simple. I think and please understand, he's, as they say, a friend is only a friend when he gives you a negative feedback also, right? Otherwise he's not a friend. So please treat him like a friend. Please treat him that he wants good for me. If he's telling me something, then he's meaning it, right? And then improve on that. Especially when there is no 360. If there is a 360, I'm sure you would have received that feedback any which ways, right? If there is no 360, then that person is giving you a feedback. Accept it. Period. Accept it with a smiling face. That's, very gracefully. That's the minimum you can do. And then probably work on that. Understand how important that is for that employee per se, or how important that is for the whole team or for yourself. For example, if somebody says that, sir, you get angry very fast, it is also important for you, right? He's only helping you. He's only ensuring that you do not raise your BP, right? He's only ensuring that. So calm down, work on your anger, period. So it is important to, at least on this phase, you have to receive it gracefully, accept it, say, and I always maintain that, say thank you. Thanks. You have given me this feedback, and I am sure let me reflect on this, right? That is something which one can say always. Let me reflect on this, and I am sure I will try to improve. Period. Itna hi bahut hai. The subordinate has done his job, and he'll be gaga about you. Please understand. He'll say, oh my God, this guy listens. He's also ready to accept his own feedback. It's a great thing, right? And then what is that which you're trying to develop? You're trying to develop a culture wherein not only the performance is, given weightage, you're also giving weightage to your own feedback. So that culture of feedback becomes when the employee does not, he does not, feel suffocated in front of you. He's able to say it, in some form or other. That's it. That is what it means, right? That is a evolving culture which you would want to have.
Sandeep, you know what? You have actually motivated me. I'm going to block calendar of my team member to understand what is it that they want to speak about me.
Yeah, very important.
Yes. Thank you so much. This was important for me.
Yeah. Pleasure.
Perfect. Sandeep, in the book, you talked about avoiding being judgmental. And honestly, being a coach myself, I think this is one of the most demanding situations from self. Can you help us give some tips to adapt a position wherein I can be, or let's say every one of us can just be unbiased at the mindset level?
No, this is something which is, very difficult, to be honest, because we are all having our own biases. We are all human beings. We tend to, get motivated by slightest of the things and, get demotivated by slightest of the things. We are all human beings and we are not machines, which is fair. Having said that, it is not impossible. One has to be, having a lot of rationale, a lot of objective. That left side of the brain need to, play a vital role here. Uh, so I very strongly believe, and my mantra has always been with data. When you are working with data, when you're talking data, when you're dealing data, when you are giving feedback on data, then this emotions, biasness, recency effect, halo and the horn effect, they do not matter at all. They don't come in the play only. You should be very clearly, and if as I said, if it is the KRS have been set the way it ought to be set, the scoring matrix has been set the way it ought to be there, and somebody has only applied mind on the data, period, then you don't have a room for the emotions and the biases to come in. So it boils down to that. And I have seen where it works methodically, I mean, beautifully well, right? It's very methodical. If somebody says that the score of the employee is 3.25, nobody can change. It's as simple as that. Oh, 3.25 ka 3.27 nahi hoga, because it is data. It is, hands free, as I say. That data speaks itself. If the achievement was required to be 370 tons, वो 370 का 375 हुआ तो नंबर ऊपर आएंगे, 370 का 360 हुआ तो नंबर नीचे आएंगे. जितना नीचे हुआ आपके स्कोर के, based on your scoring matrix, you will score that person. So where is the question of bias? So it boils down to the KRAs. That's it. It can happen. That's after KRAs have been set, after the scoring has been done, and the person has not been able to achieve because of whatever, and then you are biased. कि नहीं यार ये तो बंदा तो ठीक है, इसको कुछ मैं कर दूं. That can happen. There you have to understand and you have to apply your mind. I agree. There probably the right side of the brain will tend to play. Having said that, still okay, boss, the data is there. So I can't go beyond this much. I can only give him 10% grace marks, nothing beyond that. So it is, I think data is the key.
Sandeep, honestly, I didn't realize you would give us such a simple answer to one of the most difficult questions I thought of. And I'll be honest, like I said, being a coach myself, I know it's not easy. It comes the great practice.
Yeah, sure.
Sandeep, we discussed how you implemented movies as a learning base for curating the importance of appraisal system in the organizations you have worked with. So being a true fan of movies, theaters, and actors, I wish to understand more on how can we implement theater-based learnings to corporates in these times. And I believe this is not a new concept. It is just the untapped one.
Yeah, sure. I think you'll appreciate, Parul, that importance of soft skills is going up each passing day. As there is the famous quote that your attitude, sort of decides your altitude, right? So it is very, very important. The soft skills, I think it has always been important, but as I said, it is improving day by day. But soft skill training is also very difficult, as it requires the participant to change their behaviors that have been acquired by them over probably their entire lifetime. So hence any training to be effective, it requires probably repeated practice. Some sort of a repetition has to be there, a repeated practice and extensive feedback. So theater has been one mechanism which has got all these inbuilt, and I have personally applied theater. I think in the book also you have read for performance management, which worked beautifully well. We also created a series of Raj and Kaj, which was a comic strip. Those were also comic characters, but they were talking the lingo of the performance culture, right? So that was there. Then we also applied, theaters, especially after I started my own consultancy, and possibly has also done it. Various aspects of, let's say, self-confidence, organizational skills, listening, stage fright, overcoming stage fright, teamwork, creative problem solving, emotional intelligence, flexibility, ability, and observational skills. Now, all these can be applied in a variety of ways when you, sort of involve your participants in theater. The moment you involve them in theater and you apply some of these things, and you inculcate these skill sets into an applied behavior, right? So then that part brings their behavior to adapt to that. So it's a process which I have seen by virtue of that. When I enact something, right, which I am supposed to be otherwise doing in my day-to-day life, I tend to get into that, sort of that character. You understand? So that is what theater is all about. You get into a character which probably you would want to play in the actual life. So that is how we usually do. We tell them that, okay, why don't you play the role of a good manager, or why don't you play the role of a manager which you would be in your real life, right? So you something like that. So once we have that role play, then that person tends to understand the nitty gritty and the kind of responses he or she gets in the theater life, and then he or she would be more encouraged to have that role play in the real life also. So this is how it works. And that 70-20-10 thing, experiential learning part, plays a vital role here.
Sandeep, it's always a pleasure to interact with you. There's a lot of learning which I take away, and I just realized that it's time to close. But before we do that, I want to just make. I would like to share one of the experiences. By the way, recently I conducted a feedback session for one of our leadership programs. And one of the aspects was, of course, feedback, giving and receiving feedback. So one of the participants, he stood up and said that I've learned how to receive feedback. I'm going to probably implement it with my wife. So the friendly advice which I gave to him was, do not enter that dangerous zone. With this thought, I would like to share my key takeaways, my 3 key takeaways from our discussion today. One is courage, and you very rightly said that it is important to have the right balance of the soft skills, which does not come easy. So my first key takeaway is to be courageous and accept it with a smile, saying thank you in terms of whatever comes.
Yes.
Second is how important it is to listen.
Yeah.
So not just appraisal, not just the development of your team member, your self-development, listening is an important skill. And I loved the way you curated the response in terms of how we can be unbiased towards our own subconscious biases. And third, I think not much related to soft skill, but what I could understand is that you're giving so much importance to data. And I truly loved it, because coming that from an HR is high respect, sir. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And it can only come from an HR who understands business. So that's a perfect combination, Sandeep. I must compliment you. That's beautiful. So these are my 3 key takeaways, which I'm going to keep with me. But any last comments would you like to share with our viewers before we close our discussion today?
So I think no, I think you summed it up very well, Parul, and thank you so very much for your appreciation and your kind words. I always have been maintaining that you are like a mirror. With the manager. When I speak about myself, I am the mirror. So I need to understand that somebody who comes in front of me, he's looking at himself the way I would want him to look, right? So it is so very important that I need to portray myself which I want him to portray. And everybody is observing everyone. I recall, and I think I've written in the book also somewhere, that one of my managers, Mr. Bidesi, he said, he was the general manager in Honda. So he said, Sandeep, there are 640 or whatever number eyes watching you day in, day out, right? And those many people, I mean, if he said 340, it was probably 370 people or whatever number, half number were present on that day, right? On the plant. He said that those many people are watching you day in, day out. Whatever you do or you don't do, they understand. And then they perceive that this is what the management is wanting. So HR is a very important role. Through HR, people understand what kind of culture is there. Through HR, people understand what is management wanting, right? So it is very important that your own perception is created the way you would want it to be created. So that has to be very, very careful tread one has to do. And once you do that, then I think it becomes very easy.
Sandeep, you know what? Your comment has already lightened up some curious questions in my mind already. But I'm going to hold all of those questions, and I will ensure to note them down after this discussion, and we'll get back to you next time whenever we're meeting.
Sure, Parul.
But so thank you, Sandeep, so much for sharing all those wonderful learnings with us. I think your wisdom are going to help us grow better and learn better. Thank you.
I only hope that the viewers and the listeners, they help, they get all the desired, sort of tips, so as to say, the learning tips from whatever experiences I've had over the last 30, 34 years, which I hope.
I am sure they will, because like they say, whenever the student is ready, the guru appears. So we already have a guru with us, and the students are anyway listening and growing with that. Thank you so much for your time,
Thank you,
Sandeep.
Param.
To
Thank
see
you,
you
everyone.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, viewers, for your time. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.